You heard about the CEO getting shot? You want to talk about that?
It's a murder mystery that could have been ripped from the pages of a crime novel, but it is not. This is way too real. Brian Thompson, the 50-year-old CEO of United Healthcare, shot and killed outside the Hilton on 6th Avenue in Midtown right before his company's annual investors meeting. This new image of the suspect recovered from a nearby Starbucks.
The killer seen on video lying in wait outside the hotel. He apparently knew the exact door Thompson was going to use. After the shooting, he calmly walked away and left the scene on a bike. But
did the murderer leave behind some evidence? Well, New York cops have found that and are now analyzing it. Shell casings, bullets, a water bottle, a candy wrapper, and a cell phone. New at 5 o'clock, police do believe these items belong to the killer.
We have several reports this evening, from the investigation to the victim to the fact that that shooting was just blocks from tonight's Rockefeller Center tree lighting.
Or do you care?
I don't really. It's just a bunch. I feel like it's a bunch of conspiracy that I hear.
Okay.
And I don't know.
They're saying on the bullets they were written denied, delayed.
Yeah.
Just because it comes from the insurance.
Yeah.
So actually, here's what I think is interesting. So if you haven't heard,
Go ahead.
there's a CEO who was essentially assassinated.
A CEO of what?
Of a health insurance company.
Thank you.
He'd been working there for 20 years, ended up becoming CEO after some time. Maybe it was longer, 30 years, whatever, it doesn't matter. Since he was assassinated in the street, a lot of people started discussing the matter online. And I think what's interesting about this is not necessarily the assassination itself, but the way people... Assassination? Don't try to manipulate.
Manipulation.
Essentially, people are discussing, like, oh, he deserved it, oh, he didn't, all this other stuff. And the reason why some people are saying that is because he's a CEO of an insurance company. And health insurance in America is a really wild thing.
And Jay, we understand that police are zeroing in on a motive at this time?
Yeah, exactly right, Sandra. Investigators now believe that the killer had some sort of a grudge against the victim's insurance company, that he acted on that grudge by killing the company's CEO here this morning. Yes, as Bill said, they have recovered a trove of evidence, but the suspect remains at large tonight.
Brian Thompson was about to enter the Hilton at 6:40 this morning when the gunman opened fire. In this surveillance video, Thompson strides confidently toward the door when the gunman calmly walks up behind him and draws his gun. He will fire at least 3 times. Thompson will stagger to the wall where he will collapse. He shot once more while on the sidewalk before the gunman casually walks away. He was last seen on an e-bike before he disappeared into Central Park.
Their main objective as a company and as an industry is to deny as much as possible, to delay any payouts, because that's how they're trying to maximize their profits, right? You want to be, so like us who don't live in America, right? I go and I get injured. I go through the free healthcare program. Eventually I'll get there. Is it slow? Sure. Does it have its problems? Absolutely. In America, you have certain problems. If you don't have health insurance, you're looking at bills of 40, 50, tens of thousands. It's like absurd how much people sometimes have to pay medical fees. With that in mind, a lot of people have a lot of issues with the medical industry. Some people who need life-saving surgery or life-saving treatment can't get it because they don't have insurance and they can't afford to pay for it. And these people, sometimes you have insurance and they will look for everything in the fine print to try to null that insurance policy if they see you need it, right? They'll look for, and there's like some really disgusting stories that you hear sometimes. Like that's probably some of the saddest stories that I hear come out of the States. It's stuff relating to medical insurance. You have a newborn baby, you're not insured for certain things. Like, it's just like, I don't know, it's just tragic. Anyways, moving on past that. Because of how the industry's set up and because this person is what folks consider a major cog in the wheel, you know, as he's the CEO of a company, a lot of people don't feel bad for him.
They don't, because they've been played. But, I mean, it's the human life that's trying to work. Saying that he deserves it is a bit wild. I get it. It's wild. It is. No? Deserve?
Deserve is a strong word.
Okay, we agree on that.
But think about that company that he runs, that he's in charge of. How many people, for profit's sake, they denied insurance to,
100%.
or they found whatever loophole or whatever policy hole and let that person die? Mm-hmm. Do you know? For anyone who's been, aggrieved by the medical industry and stuff like that, is it that surprising to me that they would be like, I don't care?
It's not surprising. It's not surprising. It's just that, like you said, deserve is a strong word. But sure. I do understand that. I understand the sentiment of this happening. I can understand people going out of their way to be like, oh, yeah, you've buttered your last biscuit, sir. And then I get it.
It's just a hard one for me because I'm sure if I pulled all the horror stories that were relating to this company and some of the people that they let die so they can make their extra bucks and break their own policies, right? there are going to be incredibly tragic stories. People who were clinging to life, and because of how these people run their shit, yeah, it's like,
and it's going to be by default. Like the minute you have an insurance company, you're going to have those stories by default. Yeah, even here, like the insurance, the point of the insurance is not to pay. It's to make money. So they're going to find a way. They're trying to look for all the instances of where it might have been or not been or whatever, and looking at the fine prints. When it's time to collect, they collect. But when it's time for them to pay out, they're going to...
Yeah.
Let's see about that.
In my opinion, beyond even this man or his company, this kinds of industry shouldn't exist. I don't think this should be a standard anywhere in the world, in my personal opinion. Because I think health insurance stuff and how it functions works really well if you got money. If you got money and you can pay for some of the best coverage and all that shit, it's great for you. But for everybody else, it's fucking trash. And knowing that, like, yeah, we can talk about this guy and people can hyper-focus on this, but honestly, that's an industry, in my opinion, I can't believe exists to this day. But that's me. And I'm not trying to sit here and say, you know, universal health care that we have in Canada is perfect. It comes with its flaws. But good Lord, I've never looked at the American system and thought to myself,
that's great.
I could handle being a poor person in that shit. A lot of you guys who love it, you guys got money. And most places in the world, they're always going to be amazing if you got money. Even here in Canada, if you got enough money, you can go through a lot of procedures and get shit done. It don't matter.
And when we talk about having money, we're not talking about like being dirt poor and like the opposite, being dirt poor and everything like that. Just working class. If you're not well insured, we're not talking about like I ain't got no money to put. No, there's some people that have a roof over their head. They pay their bills. Everything is all right. They have a decent job, and then some stuff happen.
Yep.
And it's done. It's really an injury at work, sickness, or an injury, a sickness, and they were good before that, and they had insurance, but not the proper insurance that cover whatever the hell happened. You understand? When we talk about people that don't have money, it's not even the poor people. It's not even Section 8. It's not even all of that stuff that you're talking. It's mid class. Even higher class citizen. It's just like, yo, how many $40,000 bills can you pay? After how many months are you going to be all right? And if we think that in America, it's like, I think it's like the number for that is like 60% of people are living check to check.
Paychecks, yeah.
So if you're considered good with the money, it can still break you.
I have friends who refuse to go to a hospital because they know they can't afford it.
100%.
So they've been walking for years with an injury like a shoulder that's like not in the proper spot or whatever, and they literally can't afford it. They cannot afford it. I don't know. The fact that an industry like that exists, it's crazy to me. So listen, I understand, and at the end of the day, an individual is not someone I'm going to cheer for passing away. But I'd be lying to y'all if I said like it was something that saddened me or whatever.
Nah, that's a sentiment.
No, just knowing also what these companies do to people, it's very difficult for me personally. But yeah. Anything else?
No.
I don't know. If you guys wanted our thoughts, there they are.